Pope Francis celebrated the Easter liturgies in an empty St. Peter's Basilica this year.
Il diritto alla speranza.
At the Vatican's Easter Vigil, the Holy Father said the fundamental right that can never be taken away from us is the right to hope. Rather than giving the traditional Easter blessing from the Basilica's balcony, Pope Francis spoke in front of the tomb of St. Peter, calling for universal solidarity. Alan Holdren, the EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief, joins us now from Rome. Alan, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Tracy. Happy Easter.
So, Alan, what was Pope Francis's main message over the Easter Triduum weekend?
So, Tracy, after Easter morning Mass, he had something that's called the Urbi et Orbi blessing and message, which is a message to the city and the world. And it's usually dedicated to the Pope asking for peace and solidarity across the world, especially right now. That was a very, very strong message. He called for international sanctions to be relaxed in this time of crisis, also an immediate global ceasefire. He called for debt forgiveness, for national debt in especially poor countries worldwide. And he asked for an end to conflict, something that he has repeated in every Urbi et Orbi blessing and message that I can remember. But in particular, right now, he called for an end to conflicts in Yemen, in Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Israel, Palestine. And he called also for there to be help for refugees at the moment, and then for this to be a time in Europe in particular to look for innovative solutions to problems as were sought after World War II here in Europe, in what was the nearest time-wise comparable circumstance here in Italy, for sure. Also, during the weekend, he oversaw a liturgy of the Way of the Cross in St. Peter's Square, which was very dramatic and beautiful. The meditations were something to go back and read if you haven't seen them. And then also on Saturday, there was the Easter Vigil Mass, where he called for hope in Christ's resurrection.
Well, Easter at the Vatican is usually a popular pilgrimage for many Christians. What was Easter in Rome like this year?
Well, Tracy, as you can imagine, there wasn't a whole lot going on. The streets were largely empty. We had one of our crew out on the streets just taking some footage for one of our programs. And he said that a security agent in Piazza di Spagna, which has these beautiful stairs, pointed out a wild flower growing on the stairs there. It's sort of metaphoric for the entire city. There's really not a whole lot going on here, but there has been a lot of creativity in terms of Easter Mass. One of the parish priests in Rome celebrated from atop his church building for people in the high rises around who participated from their windows. There are other stories like that from all over Italy. People taking advantage of this moment to somehow participate, whether by way of technology or in person that way.
Well, Alan, I know that Italy has been on strict lockdown for about 6 weeks now. Can you give us an update on the coronavirus situation there in Italy?
Yeah, Tracy, as of now, we're up over 150,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19 that have led to at least 19,468 deaths. It's still a very difficult situation. We had a message just before Easter from the Prime Minister, Conte, who asked us to remain on lockdown until May the 3rd. There are very few businesses that are beyond what were deemed essential services that are going to be opened this month. That includes businesses that sell paper products, bookstores, and then also children's supply stores. So it's very much on lockdown still. And it's suffering. The economy is suffering here. They estimate that between March and May of this year, we will have lost at least 30 million visitors who would have brought their tourism dollars, which are a very important source of income for Italians.
Well, Alan, thank you so much for your insight. We continue to pray for all of you in Italy. Alan Holdren, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Thanks again, Alan.
Thank you, Tracy.